What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream today. Oh man, what a day it was yesterday, people. We did 3 streams yesterday, morning, afternoon and evening. We were hoping for something really exciting to happen, something that would, brighten the mood of everyone. And it just didn't quite happen, unfortunately. We did make a signing, but, Listen, it hasn't excited the fan base. Let's put it that way. We have completed the signing of a right back, which we wanted. And, I think if you feel like me, people, I'm trying my best to find a positive in this window. I'm really trying, I'm going, okay, it's they're young players. They can improve this, that, the other. But I can't lie to myself either, and I can't lie to the community. I'm not excited about the transfer window. I will support it. We've got no choice. The window closed at 11 p.m. last night. We were streaming, 3-hour stream last night, and I'm trying my best to go, all right, we definitely got to give the players a chance and support them. We have no choice in that matter. But in terms of, am I happy with that transfer window? Not really, not really. But listen, time will tell. That's all we've got now is hope. Expectation is not that high, but the hope is all we've got, people. So I'm going to get your thoughts on the window. We'll break down what happened with the signing of Tomiyasu, who I was calling Tommy last night. Apologies, I kept forgetting his name. And I want to know what you guys think about the transfer window. I called it the Bitcoin transfer window for Arsenal because all I see is investments. These players look like investments for me. Sometimes you buy crypto in the hope that it will blow up and make you a lot of money. And that's what I look at with this transfer window. We haven't signed a finished article. We've signed a lot of potential that may or may not improve. Does that help us enough this season? And time will tell. Time will tell, people. So listen, big up to all of you in the chat. Invest in Ada, eToro FC. It's not below a 4. I mean, I named it at a 4 out of 10 yesterday. We'll be able to see your pain more clearly now, Big C. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm using a different camera. I haven't. I need to mess around with the settings on it a little bit just to get it a bit better and probably add a little bit of light into it. But bear with me over the next day or two. We'll get it sorted. I can see you already giving me your ratings, people. I will definitely be asking you for them. Be excited, says Omar. 10 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, hey, Rat Troop says 0 out of 10. Listen, Big Tezza in the background, man. As I said, man, Thierry, you brought me years of joy and happiness, but I'm beginning to think you set me up. You know what I mean? You set me up, my friend, I felt it was going to be rosy in the garden for many more decades to come, and it certainly hasn't been since this legend of a footballer, in my opinion, the best player we've ever had, left the football club. Jamal, thoughts on Saul, Big C? Would you have taken him? For me, fantastic signing. We're going to talk about some of the other big teams in the Prem as well and their windows. But to get Saul on loan for Chelsea, and would I have taken him? I mean, he walks into the Arsenal team. Bear in mind, he played centre midfield with Thomas Partey. There would have been an understanding there. Crazy. Would have loved to have got him in. Henry fooled a whole generation into supported Arsenal. The club is building for the future, but for the fans, its history settings as shown in your background. To have a successful future as well, you have to plan and do things right in the present. We can't just say this team's going to be great in 4 years. What about the 4 years to get to that point? Your Sakas and those guys may actually leave the club in the meantime. So, misallocating the cash. Listen, let's get into it. We signed a player yesterday. Let's try and look on the bright side. We signed a player. Some people in the comments saying he's good. For me, don't know too much about him, but I've seen a little bit of him. And, I would like to think and hope that he's going to offer something better than the right-backs we've had, which is not difficult, let's be honest. Our right-backs have been pretty shambolical. Here he is. Welcome to Hiro. We need a hero right now, so I hope he is a hero. Takahiro Tomiyasu joins Arsenal from Bologna, 22 years of age, Japanese international from Serie A. He was linked with Tottenham and Inter Milan earlier in the window. Tottenham couldn't get a deal done for him. Tottenham, of course, signed Emerson Royal from Barcelona, a right back that I would have liked to have seen Arsenal go for. But we've signed Tomiyasu, or as people are calling him, Tiramisu. Absolutely butchered that name. I thought I did quite well with it, to be honest, but fair enough. People saying I've butchered it. Now, he's 6'2". He's a right back. He can play centre back. There's a report out in The Athletic today saying why Arsenal wanted him, what they were looking for. They were looking apparently for a right back that predominantly tucks inside and helps the centre backs rather than a right back that overlaps and goes past the fullback. So they want us to play like lopsided fullbacks. So you would have Tierney bombing on down one side, hugging the touchline, and they want the other fullback, a right back, to tuck inside and help the two centre backs, which is why they've gone for Tomiyasu, who can play centre back as well. I mean, 6'2" for a fullback is very tall. And he can play centre back as well, although he is predominantly a right back. Apparently can even play in CDM as well. But again, as I said, whether it was Tommy Gunn, Tommy Egan, or Tomiyasu, again, an underwhelming signing. Listen, I hope he comes in, surprises all of us. People were saying last season he pocketed Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm like, okay, he had one good game. That doesn't define how good or bad a player is. But I hope he surprises us. As I say, Hector Bellerin has not been good enough, and he's moved on. Of course, we'll talk about that. Callum Chambers isn't good enough. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, that's a different debate. We know he's going through a tough situation with the club at the moment. Static said, hey, Curtis, congratulations for 35k. Listen, I have to thank each and every one of you for the support on the channel. We've had over 1.2 million views on the channel in the last month of August. The channel is far outperforming itself for a channel of this size. So the thanks, the congratulations has to go to the community. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome to the ones who've been here since day one. And if you haven't subscribed, what the hell are you doing? Click that button, people. Let's go. Start of the month, start of September. New month, new opportunities. Let's do this. Right. Tomiyasu. We've got a little bit of waffle, not from him. I believe Edu and Mikel Arteta have spoken briefly, so just a little waffle today about him. In January 2018, Takahiro moved to Europe from Belgium club Sint-Truiden, where he spent 18 months, during which his time he was voted the club's player of the season. His performances in Belgium earned Takahiro a move to Italy, and he completed a move to Bologna in July 2019. During his time in Italy, Takahiro became a regular in Bologna's defence, making 63 appearances in 2 seasons. So he's played plenty of football, which would tell you that the injury record is not too bad, and this, that, the other. So he's played plenty of games. Technical director Edu, is he still here, people? We're delighted to have signed Takahiro. We've been watching him for a while now, and we're pleased that we've reached an agreement with Bologna. He is an important addition to our squad. I suppose Arsenal fans will be saying, if you were watching him for so long, why didn't you buy him earlier? It was risky leaving him till the end of the window if this was the guy who was eyeing up. Big up Mo Timbo with the super chat. He said, I'm excited about this one more than White. Good price. And if Leicester bought him, we would be saying, why didn't we? Look at Sioncho. Appreciate the super chat, bro. And listen, I hope he's a success. Fatul said, big up my G, September. Come on, man. You know what I mean? September, people. More waffles than an American breakfast. Bro will be good and a lot better than Chambers and Holding. Come on now. Listen, this is what I'm saying. He doesn't have to do too much to be better than the players that we've had at right back, at the end of the day. Mikel Arteta said, Takahiro is a strong defender with good experience in Serie A and at international level. He's a versatile defender with great defensive qualities, high technical ability and composure on the ball. He will be an important member of our squad. We look forward to Takehiro joining up with us when he returns from international duty. So, yeah, he's away with the Japanese national squad now. Obviously completed his medical yesterday and the deal was announced. SJW Genius said, hey, Curtis, I'm listening to your stream while driving to work every day. As a Chelsea fan, I love your stream so much. Keep it up. I think my team got a good transfer window. We will talk about that shortly of some of the other teams. I definitely think Chelsea had a very good window. Nikola Stefanovic, I see your super chat and I appreciate the support, but listen, let's not. We don't want to be slurring anybody. I know it may be banter or whatever, but we shouldn't be doing that. He's an Arsenal player, and it's not right. We can't bring anything to do with things like that into an issue. So I won't be clicking on the super chat. But come on, people, we have to go on better than that. He'll wear the number 18 shirt, and yeah, not much to say about him. He's made 23 appearances for Japan. That, of course, leads on to this story. Heki B. Heki B leaves the club. He goes to Real Betis, his original club, his boyhood club, before he went to Barcelona. And he will join them on loan. Now, Sky Sports were reporting that the deal was with an option to buy, which was interesting because Ornstein and Fabrizio said there was no option to buy Hector Bellerin in this move, which gave me the impression that, listen, are we looking at bringing Hector Bellerin back last season? I get the impression that Arteta may have looked at this, because, listen, we know Arteta loves Bellerin. I know we joke and say it's his stepson, this, that, the other, of course. He did live with him. When he moved to this country, he lived with him for a few months until he got his own place when he left Barcelona. And he joins on a year loan with no option to buy. So I'm thinking, as Mikel Arteta said, listen, you go to Real Betis, get a year of football under your belt, find your sharpness. I'll have you back here next summer. I'll look after you. Do you know what I mean? That's just the impression that I've got from Mikel Arteta. I could be completely wrong, and if Betis like him, Arsenal will probably negotiate. Dani Ceballos had no option, but I think Real Madrid gave us the option of buying him. We just didn't want him because he didn't do well enough. So Hector Bellerin, listen, we've slandered him, we've joked about him a number of times. Heki B, tree planter, this, that, the other, dresses up in sarongs and that. One thing I can't question is I believe this guy genuinely loves Arsenal Football Club. Maybe because he's had a bit of an easy free ride over the last few years without really performing. But he's been at the club a long time. He came through the youth system. I think it's a shame for him that it hasn't worked out due to the fact that, he's been at the club a long time. He knows the club and he knows what it means to be at this club. Unfortunately, I just think since the ACL injury, we are not seeing the same player. And he goes on loan for a year. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how he gets on at Real Betis. Maybe he'll suit a less physical league a little bit more. So we'll have to see. Jamel Allen said, Curtis, if he can throw a ball in, he is a big upgrade on Hackney B, signing of the window. I mean, yeah, I saw a thing that Hector Bellerin's had the most foul throws in the last 2 years in the Premier League, which is not a stat to be bragging about, Captain Sal said, big up Big C. As a Liverpool fan, we had a disgraceful window. I mean, at least with Liverpool, they've got a very good team, but I have to admit, I'm shocked that they didn't add somebody else. Like I said, people, for those of you who watch the streams, I actually bet on Liverpool to win the league. I got great odds, and with Firmino being injured and no new signing apart from Konate, I do not see them winning the title. I've got to be honest. So yeah, Bellerin is on his way. People buy Heki B. He says, let's see what he says. Sky of fraud. Yeah, that's Sky Cavi, is it, or Cavi? Some of the stuff he's been coming out with has been outrageous on Sky. Shaw Sports News, yeah, we took over for 24 hours, man. Told Sky to just fall back, relax. We'll handle business, and we did our thing, man. Big up South London's finest. You just know Arteta wanted Bellerin to stay. You just know it, innit? You know it. He was trying to, get Ainsley Maitland-Niles out of the door on a permanent and probably keep Hector Bellerin in there. But this is why I think there's probably no option, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's back next summer. Big up Fitz Joseph. Thank you for becoming a member, bro. Really appreciate your support on the channel. And look out for the content. There'll be another member stream probably Monday next week, people. Obviously, anyone who joins as a member, you have the opportunity at certain levels of membership to come on the stream and give me your opinions. New camera is everything. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Congrats on 35K. Big up, Greg. Appreciate that, bro. Let's see what the club are saying on Bellerin. I don't know if they're saying too much. No, they're actually not saying anything, which is interesting. No, not a thing. Not a thing said about Bellerin from Edu or thingy, so maybe it's not goodbye. And this guy, I always try and be respectful, but sometimes the banter just, I can't help myself, people. I say this all the time. If you're trying to achieve something major in life and you're thinking, this is difficult, or it's going to take me a long time, or can I achieve it? Take inspiration from this guy right here. Alex Runarsson is on £40,000 a week. I repeat, people, £40,000 a week, $2 million a year. And he's a professional footballer in the Premier League. No disrespect, he tried his best, but this guy goes down as one of the worst goalkeepers I have ever seen at Arsenal Football Club. He is miles off the mark. How we kept the goalkeeping coach who recommended him to Arteta, I will never know. Because if I'm Mikel Arteta and you recommend him to me and I see the standard of him, you've probably got to get your P45 for that, because the fans are hanging me out to dry for this signing, but it was on your recommendation. But then Arteta should have known better, you got to know who you're signing yourself. This was a terrible signing, nowhere near good enough to play for Arsenal. And he's on his way to Belgium on loan for the season. I'm not sure if Leuven are in the top division of Belgium or the second division, but it is with an option to buy this one. So Alex Runarsson goes out on loan, and I don't think we'll be seeing him in an Arsenal shirt again, although you never know. I said that about Kolasinac. Camille said, Arteta, make sure you have a place to stay once he's gone. Michael Murray, thank you for your membership and joining as a member. Really appreciate that, bro. And as I said earlier, look out for the member stream next week. See, some of you are saying top division relegation zone. Some are saying second division. People, let me know. Leicester's feeder club, second division. Top division? Where are we at, people? Where are we at? Leuven, where are they? Top division or second? Paul Merson said, I think we should sign Curtis Davis and Grant Hanley. Get some leaders in this group. That's probably the type of thing that he would say, to be honest. This wasn't a Bitcoin window. This was Doge. Top meme club these days. Dogecoin settings, man. We're moving like the dogs. Curtisio Sharmano live on Sky Sports. Yeah, anyway, that's the end of the players sold. Again, underwhelming. Last day of the transfer window, man. And again, they don't say anything. And then the final one, of course, Reiss Nelson goes to Feyenoord on loan in Holland. One of probably the three biggest clubs in Holland, along with PSV Eindhoven and Ajax. And he said 100% top division. I played there. Hey, big up, man. Give us the insight. Reiss Nelson goes on loan, which, I think Reiss needs a loan. I still think that he has quality. I just think he hasn't played enough football to develop and enhance that quality, too much under 23 football and not enough first-team football. No obligation, no option to buy. Reiss Nelson has also extended his contract by a further year, taking him to 2023, which means when he comes back, he will still have a year left. But good luck to Reiss. I actually think Reiss has got talent. I was disappointed last year that he didn't get more game time, and I wish him all the best. And I do think he has a future if he develops enough in this 12 months on loan. So all the best to Reece Nelson over there in Feyenoord. I'll be keeping my eye out on them in the Dutch league. Reece has got tech, definitely. As I said, at 16, 17, 18, they were comparing him, saying he was even more highly rated than Jadon Sancho. Look at the way their careers have gone since. He needs to play football. Big up to Taylor Chains with a super chat. I hope we fired that scout / goalkeeper coach who said he was good enough for us. Panic buy because of incompetence from Edu and Arteta letting Emi go. And this is what I say with Arsenal, Surely any time you are preparing to let something go, a major asset, when you let Emi Martinez go, you should already have lined up the replacement before you sold him. It's almost like Arsenal. They sell their car and they still need a car, but they haven't bought the replacement. The replacement, you can't get it for 3 months. They haven't got it in the warehouse. And you're on the bus for 3 months. Like, you have to be prepared. And this is the problem with Arsenal. They never seem to turn up and be prepared. People, I'm going to put slow mode in the chat. It helped massively yesterday because the comments are flying in again, people. So I will put slow mode on just to make it a little bit easier for me to keep up with the comments. The comments are flying in. Over 2,000 people in here. So make sure you like the video and subscribe. I'll put slow mode on so I don't miss as many of your comments. Drogba tweet, mission accomplished. Willie, mate, I saw that. Getting trolled by Didier Drogba, saying mission accomplished. And he put a picture up of David Luiz and Willian saying, the agents have come to Arsenal and ruined us, which isn't good. Yeah, we're in Mertesacker / Rob Holding mode, people. Slow mode on daily now. Listen, it's a credit to you guys. There's so many of you in here. I'm having to go onto slow mode, so it shows we're doing something right, There's so many of you in it. Right, listen, let's move on. Let's see what happened, what could have happened, and what we think the reality of this transfer window has been for Arsenal. We're going to kind of round it up a little bit and see what we should have done. So the transfer window. Arsenal finish the transfer window as the biggest spenders in the Premier League. £150 million. On top of that, people, this is Arsenal's biggest ever transfer window in terms of money spent. I mean, you would think, looking at the biggest transfer window ever, that you would see the best transfer window ever in the football club's history. It doesn't seem to be that, unfortunately. We're still sort of questioning what this window is or was. Big up Gio. He said, nobody from the top to the bottom have the best interest in Arsenal. The board and owners and Arteta are clowns. Kerner says, my GG love from Shottingham. Big up, bro. Hometown settings. Robbie dance mode. Yeah, we ain't doing the Robbie dance this season, man. The Thomas Partey dance. I don't know if we're going to be pulling that dance out this year. But 50 million for Ben White. For me, I think Ben White is a good centre-back. I think he is the type of centre-back that Arteta wanted, a ball player. I just think we paid 15 to 20 million pound too much for him. And I asked the question, could we have kept Saliba and spent it on a cheaper centre-back instead of paying 50 million pound? But time will tell whether that one works or not. Nuno Tavares at 7 million. I think is a decent sign-in as a backup. So I have no real problem with that. It costs 7 million pounds. Sambi Lokonga for 15 million plus add-ons is probably the best value signing, I think, in this transfer window out of what we've seen so far. He looks like he's got real potential. He's been called up for the Belgium national team, and it looks as if he's going to make his debut. So I think that one is a real plus. Sibo said, Curtis, did you ever consider playing abroad, USA and Africa? I was offered a professional contract in Australia, didn't take it. I was speaking at one stage about playing in America, but it involved me studying at the same time, and I just didn't want to study. So, no, I didn't go for it. But I would have loved to have lived in America, to be honest. Peely said, is there a worse run big business anywhere in the UK than Arsenal? It's a disgrace. Loving the content, bro. Much love. Bro, there aren't many worse. Probably Woolworths, and that's closed down, you know. So, no, we're up there. You know, if we carry on, they'll be closing us down like Lily White's, Woolworths, you know. So, Mo, appreciate the super chat, said 150 bricks spent like that. We have to check if there is no corruption in those deals. Overpay players and receive money in offshore accounts. I think this is why people are getting on to Edu. People are saying, are these deals dodgy deals? Why have we paid so much? People accuse Raul of overspending on Pepe and saying there could have been potential backhanders and brown envelopes in it. NW10 said, Curtis, remember your international call-up? That was lit. Yeah, that was quality, bruv. Taylor Chain said, this reminds me of the 8-2 loss window. A lot of names, but no real game changers to impact our starting 11. This window helped the squad, not the 11. And I hear you on that. I really do. Remember Summerfield? Yeah, I remember that place. Get Swifty, thank you for becoming a member as well. Really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Big up to all of you. Over 2,250 of you. Can we hit 1,000 plus likes, people? And subscribe if you haven't already. We move now to 40k and we continue to move. Martin Odegaard, for me, said many times, good player. I think the way we're playing football at the moment, we won't get the best out of him. He needs movement in front of him. He needs to get the ball early, and he needs protection from defensive midfielders. Until those things are addressed, we will be carrying him as a luxury player, in my opinion. I rate him, but I still think we needed a goal-scoring, attacking midfielder to give us what we needed. We scored 6 goals from all our midfielders last season. Joe Willock scored 8. That puts it into context. Chris Atkins, who was your international call-up against? We played a friendly against St. Lucia, and the games were against Canada. So, yeah, man. Over 2K watching, not even 500 likes. You know the drill, people. Get up to 1K like and subscribe. Road to 40K. Let's carry on. Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, I've made my opinion on him a numerous amount of times. I will give him an opportunity. But I don't think for 24 million plus 6 million in add-ons, I think there was much better value for money. As I said, I would have taken Areola on loan, Anana for 7 million, although the transfer ban, I think, made that deal difficult and probably stopped us buying him. And I would have taken Sam Johnston from West Brom for about 15 million. But we'll give him time. But as a second choice goalkeeper, 30 million, that to me seems like a luxury you do not need to buy. And then Takahiro Tomiyasu, 17 million plus 2.5 in add-ons. Time will tell. I honestly don't know. So it leads me overall, people, to what do you rate this window? I rated it as a 4 out of 10 yesterday, and that's where I'm at. To me, it's a 4 out of 10 window. And I want to see what you guys think. Longello said, big up Big C. Odegaard 1920 season was amazing. Thank you for your super chat. I believe that was that the Real Sociedad year when he was balling that year. I want to see your ratings. Michael said, St. Lucia, my country. Big up, bro. Tom, 2 out of 10. Heaven Angel, 2 out of 10. Buenos Aires Guna Curtis, my first semi-pro team was an all-Jamaican team. Nothing but love for the Reggae Boys. Big up, bro. Big up. 10 in, 4.5, 2, 5.5. I'm just trying to get a feeling of the numbers that you would rate this transfer window. Could have signed a better keeper for 1 million. 3 out of 10. 3. Let's see what the highest is, what you guys are saying. People saying 5. We ain't got beyond a 5. 10 out of 10 if Edu and Arteta are sacked after Norwich. That will definitely please me, that's for sure. Alex says 7. That's the highest we're at so far. Why would you give it a 7? What is a 7 about it, in your opinion? 4, 5. Most of you are about 3, 4, and 5. No comment. We've got 6. Conte would have made it a 10 possibly, although still the players ungraded. Man are giving it ungraded, you know. 4. I mean, clearly people aren't happy with the window. Arjan's definitely trolling with the 10. 5, 6. Tomiyasu brought it up to a 6. 5 because the investment may provide good returns. I hear you on that. I think that makes sense as well. 6 because we got a right back. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. Listen, for me, I've got no doubt all of these players have got lots of potential. Dan Potts gave our rating 7 out of 10. Dan, calm yourself down there, fella. All of these players have potential to improve, right? They've all got the potential to become good players at Arsenal Football Club. But my problem is, wow, Robbie gave it 8 out of 10. Rob, stop that, man. Come on. He knows as well. The problem for me, how many of these improve our first 11 straight away? I'm talking right now, if you're playing Manchester City, which you saw last week, but none of these guys played. In fact, Odegaard was the only one who played. And he played out of position. He played in the middle of midfield next to Xhaka. How many of these 6 signings improve Arsenal's first 11 from last season? And how much do they improve us by? I think that's where the problem is with the fan base. We've spent 150. For me, if we'd have gone Basuma, 40 million. If you go and get yourself a Max Aarons for 25, that's 65 million. There's your centre mid, there's your right back. Keep Saliba. Tavares and Lokonga, I've got no problem. Tavares a backup. Lokonga looks like a gem. I like Ben White. I think we paid too much. Ramsdale was too expensive for a backup. Odegaard, I would have looked for a goal scorer because I think that's what Arsenal lack, a goal scorer midfielder. So that's where the problem is for me. I think for 150 million, you would have wanted to sit there and say, right, 2, 3 of those signings really improve, really excite. And that's what I'm concerned with this transfer window. I mean, when you look at it, Saul goes to Chelsea, improves them straight away. There's no doubt he's a top quality player, you know, and that's the difference. That's the difference, and that's the disappointment. 2.5K in the chat now, people. Great support. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Why no Basuma? I mean, it baffles me. Brighton, somebody from the Brighton press announced that no club made an offer for Basuma this summer from any country, which is unbelievable. Cruz Gunner said, how crucial is it to have a strong spine in the team? And do you think Aubameyang is a weak link in our spine? Could you name your preferred Arsenal spine? Listen, I'm gonna show you a team that I've created. Don't worry, I've got one I made earlier, people. It's compounded by the fact we still have Xhaka, Eddie, Kolasinac, Boldin, Chambers, El Neni. It's a good point. You know, we've got players there still that should have been moved on. And has that hindered potential deals that we could have added to these if we'd sold players? When you bear in mind, Arsenal sold one player for money this summer, Joe Willock. And there was an argument to say Joe Willock should have stayed. You know, I didn't have a particularly big problem with Joe Willock going for 25 million, but I wanted to see Xhaka, El Neni, Holding, Kolasinac. I wanted to see these guys sold as well, and Ketia moved on for money, cash, so we could reinvest. So I think again, Edu has to take a lot of the fall for that, because how come we're buying high and selling low? That's not how a business makes money. You can't do that. So this project will not work for too long, and that's why we're bottom of the league, because it's not working. Fire Mara said, liked and subscribe. Should have got Basuma over Ben White, Anana over Ramsdale, and Maddison over Odegaard. All 3 of them I would have agreed with. Obviously, Onana, like I said, with him being banned until November, I think that's why the club didn't do it. Big up my bro, Jar Digger. Aubameyang is not the one. I know you've been slandering Aubameyang, aren't you? Listen, I can't defend Aubameyang for that much longer. I got to be honest. Bad season last year, bad preseason. Let's look at him in these next 4 games when we come back from the international break. We've got a creative player now. 0 out of 10, we kept Xhaka. That's a big 0. Listen, let's move on. I've got a team here that I created. In fact, let me do this first. I've got a picture here of a transfer window. This is the ones that got away, people. The ones that we nearly got a hold of. The Jack Grealish one is banter, of course. We were never getting Jack Grealish. We thought we were, but we weren't. But as you can see, top row, Maddison, Awar. Bottom row, Buendia, Locatelli, Daniel Ek, who we thought was going to buy the club, Lautaro Martinez, who I still believe we could have signed if we'd have moved quick. Inter were more keen on selling him than Lukaku. But we stood back. Lukaku goes to Chelsea. Lautaro Martinez signs a new contract. Game over. Any little chance you had disappeared. Scott said, Big C, your energy was wild when Aubameyang scored against West Brom under 10s. I think it was the under 8s, actually. Listen, desperate times, desperate measures, bro. We ain't had a lot to celebrate at Arsenal. So Aubameyang scoring against the youth team of West Brom, that's all I had. You know, so I had to enjoy it. I was living in the moment for real, the power of now. Daniel Ek looks like he just wanted to get the stocks and shares up at Spotify. He's not about that life, unless he's working in the background. Locatelli didn't really want to join us. Buendia did. Maddison did. Aouar did. Martinez was linked. Grealish is just, banter. He was never coming to Arsenal. But why did we not move for Aouar at 25 million? Buendia, we allowed Villa to outbid us. Maddison, we never seem to put the money on the table. We're making silly offers, 40 million plus, and Ketia and silly things like that. Ron said, big up Big C, been enjoying your content for almost a year. First time commenting, keep up and awesome work, bro. Thank you very much. And there you go, you've made your commenting debut. I appreciate it. I have put slow mode on the comments because over 2,600 of you in the live and so many comments. I don't want to miss too many. Those transfers would have cost 300 million. I mean, listen, we wouldn't have bought all of these. I'm saying we could have bought maybe one or two of these. We could have got Aouar and maybe a Martinez, or Aouar and Maddison. That's 85 million. That wouldn't have been impossible. Tammy Abraham wanted to come. He did. I got to be honest, I didn't want Tammy Abraham at Arsenal, but he has started off well in Serie A. I can't knock him, but it is only 2 games. Who said Maddison? AFC Bell. He had a bad time of it, man. Renato Sanchez on loan. How did we miss out on Renato Sanchez on loan? He was set to go to Wolves on loan, which seemed like an unbelievable deal. And then next minute, the move collapses. You're like, come on then, Edu, get moving. But Edu, it looks like he was having barbecues last night and smoking cigars, because once we signed Tommy, they weren't interested in doing any business, unfortunately. So yeah, oh man, 150 million. It's just, when you compare it to what some of the other teams have done, you just feel underwhelmed. You're like, we could have got more for our money, man. We could have got more. We wanted quality rather than quantity. That's what we needed. We've got no Europe this year. We don't need a squad as big as the squad we've had in previous years when we've been in the Europa League. So you didn't need that as much. I feel like we've strengthened the squad, but not necessarily the first 11. Zukiswa said, Curtis, we should have signed Boateng for experience. I don't know if the fans would have been happy with that. Jerome Boateng, he signed for Lyon on a free today. Big up Fran in the chat. Hope you're well, bro. He gave away his PS5 giveaway last night. He said, Camry's on point. What's happening, everyone? Fran, are you on today? Let the people know, man. Akeem, my bro, said he's not happy, man. We are awful. I mean, listen. Let's put this into context. As a football club, let's look at the bigger picture. This is a frightening statistic for Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal now have the 6th most expensive football squad in world football. 6th most expensive in the entire world. Big up RS85 for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. And I said this before, people. We have one of the most, I think it's the 2nd most expensive front 3 in Premier League history. When I think about it, it could be the most expensive. I think it's still the most expensive. It was being challenged by... No, the Man City one has overtaken us. Man City have got the most expensive front 3 in Premier League history, which is Grealish, Gabriel Jesus, and Mahrez. Ours is 2nd. Lacazette, Aubameyang, Nicolas Pepe. It's more expensive than Rashford, Ronaldo, and Sancho. It's more expensive than Chelsea's. Although Chelsea's now could be more expensive actually as well because they've signed Lukaku. But just to put into context, where's the money gone? Our squad's worth nearly £500 million. We would not beat one team on that list. Not one. We wouldn't beat one of them. We wouldn't have a hope of beating any of them teams. Yet our team is the sixth most expensive. Where's the money gone? You know what I mean? We're still not in the top four in money spent. We're just about to scrape Europe. But we've wasted so much money, people. So much. The self-sustaining model does not work if you do not earn money back. You have to earn money back. This is the problem with Stan Kroenke. When I do streams where I'm critical of Stan Kroenke, I always get some people in the comments, and I listen to it because everyone's entitled to their opinion. They will say, but he spent loads of money. He spends the money. It's not about them. I say, listen, let me tell you something. And as Fran's saying here, I don't know if we can beat Barca, by the way, but hey, you have to keep an eye. If you own a business, if you run a YouTube channel, if you own a company, if you sell cars, if you run an office, attention to detail is vital. You can't just give a technical director money and let him go and splurge the money all over the market. Keep your eye on the business that's being done. Make sure you're hiring the right people. We have not sold players at the right time. We're doing the same thing again. Lacazette, Eddie Nketiah, Mohamed El Neni are out of contract next summer. The club should have sold all three of them this summer or last summer when they still had value. We turned down 25 million from Roma last summer for Lacazette. If you're going to turn down 25 mil, extend his contract. If you don't want to sell him. They've done neither. He will leave on a free. El Neni should have been sold numerous times. Eddie Nketiah, we couldn't get him to Palace. He didn't want to go. I'll tell you the reason Eddie Nketiah doesn't want to go to Crystal Palace, because by right, he should go to Palace, go and play for Patrick Vieira, start every week, stay in London and build up his career. But you know why Eddie Nketiah doesn't want to go? Because Eddie Nketiah can see a big bag of money in 11 months' time when he's a free transfer, and the £11 million that Palace were going to chuck to Arsenal, he'll get a big chunk of that. He can say, right, I want 1.5 million directly to me as a signing on fee, because you would have paid 11 million to Arsenal. You give me 1.5 mil, give my agent 1.5 mil. You've got a bargain and we've all let out of it. Eddie's going to sit on Arsenal's bench all season and go on a free transfer with a big bag of money. Rick Ross settings. You remember that song, people? Oh, bitch, bad looking like a bag of money. That's what Eddie's doing, man. He's looking for the money. Lacazette, same thing. Clubs were interested this summer. Nah, you're all right, mate. I'll go next summer. Now, you have to question Eddie Nketiah. Lacazette, I can understand waiting for the bag. Lacazette's in his 30s. He's got to look after his retirement. He's probably got one big contract left in his career. But Eddie Nketiah? How old's Eddie? 21, 22? He's quite unproven. A lot of people are questioning him. But you're still not desperate enough to go and play football for Palace or a decent mid-table side in the Prem with an Arsenal legend as the manager in Patrick Vieira. And you're prepared to just go, nah, I'll sit out a season. And that's the problem with a lot of people in football nowadays. Now, I can't say what I would do on their behalf. What I would do on my behalf, I would have gone to Crystal Palace and played football and proved myself and played for Patrick Vieira and learned all I could. Got all the first team football I could. But Eddie Nketiah will just sit on the Arsenal bench, happy, living comfortable on Instagram, scoring 2 or 3 goals off the bench, throwing up ring me celebrations. Where's the hunger for a young England under-21 player to go and play football? You just want to sit there and pick up the bag. And these are things that disappoint me in football. Now, I know money talks, people, but this is football. This is your career, man. And, you know, I think that's disappointing that Eddie Nketiah, you know, turned down that deal and asked for too much money, priced himself out of the move. KB Tube, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said Aubameyang is not the issue. It's our Arteta and our midfield. We have no one to score and create. We're just mad we didn't get a big name. We have a growing team. In 2 years, it will be good again, but new manager. The thing is, like anything in life, right? It only grows if it has the right environment to grow in. If you nurture it, if you take care of it. I don't know if this team can grow in a toxic environment, which is Arsenal Football Club at the moment under this ownership, fan base and technical director. It doesn't look like a great team to play and to develop. You know, yeah, we've pulled through the odd one, your Sakas, your Smith Rowes, but there's some that haven't developed as well. Your Nketiahs, your Ballagans at this point, your Joe Willocks, your Reece Nelsons. It's not an easy stomping ground to just improve on. You know, you've got a documentary in the background filming a team that is failing. You heard Martin Odegaard yesterday. He did a press conference away with Norway, and he said, "Oh, it's a distraction having the cameras in and a documentary being filmed." Well, if you're a successful team, I don't think those cameras would bother you. If you do something good, you want it to be on camera. If your team is struggling, you're bottom of the league, you're arguing in the changing room, you don't want a camera to be there. So these things can have a negative effect. So for me, I think if the environment is not right, it is very difficult for the team to grow in terms of what KB Tube was saying. He's saying in 2 years we'll be good. In 2 years, we'll have a different manager. Probably in 2 months, we'll have a different manager. So then the whole direction changes again. The ship that was steering in this direction may get moved into a different direction. I remember being at Kidderminster when I was younger. Jan Molby was the manager. Anybody who watched football back in the day, Liverpool legend, the Scandinavian Scouser. He liked playing young players, so we had opportunities when he was in charge. New manager came in. They were in a relegation battle. He said, youth team players, not interested. We're in a relegation battle. I'll be bringing in experience. You guys will be training. You know, yeah, he was basically saying either go out on loan or you'll be playing reserve games. I'm in a relegation scrap. I can't afford to take a chance on a youngster. I'm going to sign proven players that I've worked with before. And that was that. That can happen at Arsenal. If Arteta gets sacked and Arsenal are in a relegation scrap, they might start panicking and going, right, I can't play Balogun. I can't risk Martinelli. You know, I've got to go for experience. So, yeah, Joe, you was there. Jan Molby days, we was there. He was on the youngsters when we was playing in the youth team. He was bringing youngsters through. When he left, they were panicking, relegation. It blocked the route through, you know, and that's how it was going. You was there, Joel. We was there on the train. Curtis, imagine if we never took a chance on Saka. Exactly. And who brought him through? Unai Emery people. People forget. Who brought through Smith Rowe? Unai Emery people. People forget. You know, he brought these guys in. Lacazette is seeing out his contract. He'll play the rest of the season. He's leaving at the end of the season on a free. This is a striker we paid £50 million for. How are we supposed to sustain a business model when you're letting £50 million strikers walk out of the door? Lacazette, 50 million. We turned down 25. Alexis Sanchez, we turned down 60 from Manchester City. He went on a swap for Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan left for free. So Alexis Sanchez left for free, right? So that's 60, that's 25 for Lacazette. Aaron Ramsey was easily a £30 million goal-scoring midfielder. So there's at least another 30. So you're up to what, 110 million? Could have got a cheeky 10 mil for Welbeck, little 10 million for Wilshere. Ozil went for free. Mkhitaryan went for free. Socrates, Mustafi. There's 150 million just walking out the door. Just walked out. They may as well have just burnt all that money in the air. And then now we've just spent another 150 million and we're sitting here going, don't think that's enough. And the problem is, when you neglect the team year after year after year, putting 150 million into it is not enough. That team needs 300 million going into it because it's an absolute mess. All we're doing is plugging gaps. Oh, it's leaking. Just put some tape on it. and we'll go somewhere else. Oh, now it's leaking over there. Get the duct tape out. Oh, let's patch that up. Instead of saying, you know what, let's fix this properly. I always say, people, you buy cheap, you buy twice. Yeah. Sometimes you have to spend money to get value. Sometimes there are bargains out there. You know, you might have a sale on one day and get something decent in TK Maxx. Do you know what I'm saying? But when you go Harrods, you're gonna get quality. You're gonna get looked after. You know what I'm saying? Not always. Sometimes, you know, I've bought some good bargains myself sometimes, but we are constantly doing it. 2015, we would have won the title if we'd have signed a striker. We lost Van Persie just before, a couple of years before that. We went Giroud, Podolski, Lucas Perez, Danny Welbeck. It was like a merry-go-round every season. Oh, we need a striker. We need a striker. We need a striker. Instead of buying Higuain when he left Real Madrid, instead of buying Luis Suarez when he wanted to leave Liverpool, instead of getting Jamie Vardy when he was top goal scorer in the Prem, round and round we went. And do you know when Arsenal finally bought a top quality striker? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And why did they buy him? Because Alexis Sanchez had left. So we needed Aubameyang with Alexis Sanchez. We bought him to replace Alexis Sanchez. If it makes sense, Arsenal will not do it. It's the slogan. I've said it all summer, and it's been happening for 10 years. It's as simple as that. Again, we've had another transfer window, and we're coming away from it going, midfield's not good enough. Midfield's not good enough because we're a Thomas Partey injury away from having a bog standard centre midfield because Granit Xhaka will be in it. We saw that against Man City the other day. He didn't even trust Lokonga. So he brought Odegaard into centre midfield, shoehorning players into the team in positions that they don't play like he did last year. Willian played false 9 at Man City. Smith Rowe played false 9 against Villarreal. Granit Xhaka played left back against Villarreal. Putting players in positions they're not even comfortable playing. Put a player in their best position, you give them the best opportunity of performing. You can't give Aubameyang 300 grand a week. We're all celebrating my striker, going mad, Ian Wright announcement videos with Aubameyang, and then you don't create an environment for him to thrive in. He's in his 30s, so he's going to start fading. When you watch Leicester play, look at the way they use Jamie Vardy. They don't play him left wing. They don't make him track back. They don't play the ball into his feet with his back to goal and ask him to hold the ball up. They're not putting 30 crosses in the air for him, knowing that he's not that good in the air. They get the ball. Where's Vardy? Bang. Move that ball forward quickly. Space in behind. Simple facts. Vardy does the business because he's being given what he needs. And Vardy's older than Aubameyang. Now, with Aubameyang, I'm watching Aubameyang left wing, helping Kieran Tierney at left back. What's that going to do to him? It's just going to burn him out. You put him up front, there's no service. Who creates for Arsenal? Who's our creative midfielder? Smith Rowe? No. Smith Rowe's not a creative player, really. He doesn't get on the ball and start sliding little through balls. He's a good dribbler, got a good shot, joins in. But we don't create. We're so bad in defence. We were the 12th lowest in the Premier League last year for chances created. So what we have to do now is build a team that can create chances. And that's the only way you're going to see an improved Arsenal. I've had that on the screen for ages and didn't even read it. Arsenal took the Rick Ross approach this summer. BMF blowing money fast. 100% on players that we're not even sure that we're happy with, you know? Money wasted big time. I mean, it will take time to see. KB Tube, thank you for the super chat, bro. Said facts, and that's Arsenal's issue. Always have 3 to 4 good players be comfortable, and the rest of the players are trash. Then we get mad when our good players want to leave. Don't blame the players. It's been happening for years. You know, Van Persie said it when he left. Lack of ambition. Didn't want to strengthen the team enough. Were more interested in showing him how much money the club had earned. Darren said, snap, I've always said we needed Aubameyang with Sanchez. Thank you for highlighting. Not only did Sanchez need Aubameyang, Mesut Ozil needed Aubameyang. We had one of the best number 10s in world football. This guy looked like an absolute dream in the Real Madrid team because when he got the ball, he had movement. Ronaldo, Benzema, Di Maria. At Arsenal, He had a striker in Olivier Giroud that was a target man. He needed a runner, somebody that could run in behind. Can you imagine prime Ozil at Arsenal with Aubameyang, with Alexis when Alexis was firing? We would have been a joke. We had Santi Cazorla, we had Oxlade-Chamberlain, we had all sorts. But the club sat on their hands. They only buy quality to replace quality. They have to add quality to it. That's the issue, you know? And this is why we're in this position now. It's going to take another 150 million transfer window potentially to build on this one, because this one we've only bought potential. We need some finished articles to come in. Curtis spitting fire. No, listen, we have to look at the bigger picture, you know, and see why are Arsenal in this position. It's not just because of this transfer window or because of this manager, but nobody seems to be getting hold of the situation and saying, right, enough's enough. Let's get what we need. We need a top quality right back. Let's get it. We need a centre mid to play next to Thomas Partey. Let's get it. If you have to let Xhaka go for less than you value him at, then so be it. The guy has failed time and time again, and he did it again last weekend. Let us down again. But we've rewarded him with a £24 million contract. This is the problem with the football club. You let Lacazette go for free. You don't care about his value, but Xhaka, you give 4 years. Rob Holding, you give 4 years. Rob Holding doesn't have value. Who would buy Rob Holding in the Premier League for decent money? Big up Don Draper. Hope you're well, my bro. Big up Big C. We signed a bunch of backups and British players for Premier League quotas. Edu not able to offload anybody except Willock for cash. Ridiculous. One player sold for money in this transfer window. Don Draper does a lot of great work on Twitter, especially surrounding the French market. Arsenal used to be the kings of the French market. Arsene Wenger built that reputation that most French players had some sort of interest or connection with Arsenal. How many times a French player said, yeah, I respected Wenger, I loved Henry, I love Vieira, Petit, Pires, Wiltord. We are damaging that French connection through Mikel Arteta, because look what he's done to Guendouzi. Look what he's done to Saliba. Look at what he's done with Pepe, who came from France. He was so highly rated in France. If you looked at Pepe's development in England, you'd go, what's happened to him? This guy was a world beater in the French league. Matteo Guendouzi today, people, called up for the French national team. Not like before when he got called up, he got brought in because of injuries. He's been called up this time. Bang, you're in the French squad due to his quality start that he's made to life at Marseille. French international, Matteo Guendouzi, 22 years of age. That's a player that will have value. You can see what's going to happen with Guendouzi, people. We can see this story. We've seen this story before. He will go to Marseille for £10 million. That's the price that they have to pay for him. And give it a year, 2 years, you'll see him at Lyon, PSG, for 30, 40 million pounds. He'll be in the French squad. And we'll be going, man, why didn't we keep him? Why didn't we try and work with him? Management is about your man management skills, dealing with people. Guendouzi's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's got that North African spirit. A lot of people have got that, you know. Yeah, man, they've got that fire in their belly. He's come from the French second division. He's in the Prem. He's on dough. He's probably feeling himself. Yo, I'm living life, man. I'm doing bits. I'm at Arsenal. I'm in the Prem. You've got to know how to harness that and keep him focused on the game. Arteta just, go on loan, get rid of him. I can't handle it. He's too hot to handle, like a hot potato. What do I do with him? Work with him. Put your arm around him. Give him your years of experience in the game. Give him the things you learned under Pep Guardiola. Guide him. You telling me this guy ain't good enough to play for Arsenal, yet I just watch us lose 5-0 to Man City. I just watched Granit Xhaka get sent off again on the back of 43 yellow cards in 5 seasons. But he's not given an opportunity, and we're getting £10 million for him. It's crazy, people. He's in the French squad. He's in the French squad. Yeah, we're out here saying, he's not good enough to play for Arsenal. Latafalu said, hi, CS, first time chatting, a big fan. Arteta don't want Basuma, Maddison, or Sanchez because he'll have to win now. He's a fraud. Arteta out. Wow. I appreciate your comment. First time seeing you in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. And maybe he doesn't want big characters. Alfred said, crazy enough, Aubameyang first 2 seasons, he had Ozil when Ozil was balling. But he had a guy who would find his runs, reason for 20 goals those seasons. And you make a good point. And that wasn't even prime Ozil. But he was still doing bits. 20 plus goals both seasons. Last year, no Ozil, no goals. I'm not saying it's necessarily Ozil, but it's having that creative player that picks him out early. And that's the difference with Arsenal now. Arteta doesn't like French players. Harsh. Matteo treatment is a disgrace. I mean, look, the guy grabbed a player around the throat. A guy that injured his goalkeeper, broke his goalkeeper's leg. That's that fire in his belly. I wouldn't see that as a negative. I would see that as, yo, this kid's like, at the time he was like 19. That guy's fighting for my team. He just seen his goalkeeper break his leg. I didn't see no one doing anything for Leno. Yeah, our 19-year-old, all right, he said some things that were arrogant. I earn more money than you to mope. Now, I don't like that, but it's not the end of the world. At least he was fighting for his teammate while our team rolled over. I've seen him put in performances for Arsenal that I've never seen from El Neni, from Xhaka. You know, it's a real shame. I think that boy had talent, and I think it's a shame to get £10 million for him. And, you know, Saliba's in the under-21s for France as well. Saw a stat that Pablo Mari is the only player at Arsenal to create a big chance. Unbelievable. He headed the ball back, I think, for Rob Holding's header. Jason said, spot on, Curtis. The one thing I give Ollie credit is that he is a great man. He has great man management. He is not a good coach, but he did well on Sanchez and Lukaku. Listen, he's a brilliant man manager. You can see that the players love playing for him. He's a Man United legend in that he scored one of the most famous goals in their history. You can see he's a nice guy. He's not going to stress you out too much. He allows his players to play. Probably tactically, he's not good enough. That's why United haven't won under Ollie. But they're getting closer. They're backing him. He's getting good players in. So at least he's got part of it. 2.9k in here, people. Amazing support as usual. Rion said, you need them pricks in your team. Yo, you need some of them. You need them. How many times over the years, when you look at title-winning teams or teams at the top, how many times have you looked at a player in someone else's team and you thought, I don't like him. I do not like him. But then you sit there and you think, do you know what, though? I would love to have him in my team. Diego Costa at Chelsea. Couldn't stand him. He dives. He was dirty when he attacked and tackled, but when you tackled him, he was rolling all over the floor. Couldn't stand him. I used to think I would love Diego Costa at Arsenal. Roy Keane. No one who played against United liked Roy Keane, but what a player he was. You know, you've seen these players over the years. You need them guys. David Luiz, when Chelsea were winning, didn't like him. He was a bit of a, you know, the dark arts, as people say. Look at Rudiger at Chelsea now. He's biting people on their back. You know, biting, didn't he bite Pogba on his chest or something during the Euros? You need them characters. Gattuso, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You need them characters. They're horrible. They wind you up. They get in your head. They put you off. They enable you to win games. They show that you can fight. What I didn't see, now people say you can't compare Arsenal going to 10 men to Chelsea going to 10 men, as we saw at the weekend, because Chelsea have got far better players than us. But there should have been an organisation. Let's get together. Let's get tight. 2 banks of 4. Aubameyang, you're going to be up front by yourself. You ain't really going to get the ball. And we make life difficult. We stop conceding. We're not going to win this game, but we're not going to humiliate ourselves. That's what you say. But we didn't do that. We kept being expansive, got picked off. Players were unmarked. Job done, finished. And we lose 5-0. You know, and that's the difference. Richard Reed said, big up Big C. We've got no one who's going to roll up their sleeves. 100%. That is the problem. Michael said, big ups, Curtis. You speak facts and reality. Arsenal's direction currently is a result of bad management and zero passion to succeed. We're in big trouble. To sum up, the management has to change. Man said, Robbie Savage. Yeah, I'm telling you, wasn't even a particularly good player, but definitely a player that would wind people up. Yep, Stam. Yeah, Aspilicueta. You know it, people. You know these guys. Edgar Davids. Always. Fernandez. A lot of people don't like him. But they're wind-up merchants. And it works. Granit is unfortunately not a wind-up merchant. He gets himself sent off. He goes too far with it. Was it against City when one of the other players ran up to Arteta? I don't remember what game. But Matteo wouldn't have let that happen. It was against Tottenham in pre-season. Højbjerg kind of squared up to him. And I'm going, hang on a minute. That's your manager. That's the guy you lot have been backing up and saying how good he is all this time. You lot should be jumping in the way and saying, what the hell's going on? You can't. They should have grabbed him up, Højbjerg. But, can you just move out of the way? Come on, man. Where's the fight, man? These man, soft. I'm just saying all the time, soft. These men aren't about that life. Minimum you need is fight, people. Then we let the quality do the talking, but we fight. It sounds basic, but it's the reality. Thomasin said Arsenal made him start smoking again. That is crazy. Don't let Arsenal do that to you, man. Good health is more important than Arsenal. They don't even deserve that, you know? They don't even deserve that. Ain't nobody scared of Arsenal. They're not. You'd be more scared of Burnley and teams like that. They'll have a fight, you know? But I guarantee if Burnley went down to 10 men, you wouldn't beat them 5-0. They'd just put everyone in front of goal and make life difficult. You know what I mean? You'd struggle to break them down. Big up Curtis in 4K. Hey, big up, bro. And Keown was another one. People saying I've missed a super chat. Apologies, and I think it's about to go off the screen. Punished Venom. Someone says Punished Venom super chat. I cannot see it. Oh, here we go. We got it. Curtis, I know it's a different game, but in rugby, those characters are some of the most important. Wind the opposition up and get them to lose their heads. It happens. And if you've got a good player that can do that, then even better. Characters, people. I remember that battle. Diego Costa v. Gabriel. You know, I remember. Didn't he get Gabriel sent off in that game at Stamford Bridge? Characters, people. You need them. Right, let's skip through because I had loads planned to go through, and I've been dropping speeches in there, people. And I've got two things left to show you before we start wrapping up. This sums up Granit Xhaka for me in a nutshell. Granit Xhaka's done an interview talking about his red card at the weekend. Now, bear in mind, he's just signed a new 4-year contract. He's let the team down time after time after time again. We lost the game 5-0, which you can point towards and say him getting sent off influences losing 5-0. And this is what he's got to say about the red card. Now, bear in mind what Mikel Arteta said about Pepe when Pepe got sent off against Leeds, saying that he'd let us down and he knows what he's done wrong and this, that, the other, which, okay, you got sent off, you let your team down. But keep that energy the same for everyone. That's all I'm saying. If you put a genuine tackle in and you get sent off, that's fine. This guy jumped in the air like a jumbo jet and started 2-footing, man. This is what Granit Xhaka had to say. On his red card, he said, about the red card, brutally surprising. With the Premier League, people often talk about English toughness. I hit the ball 100% and got a red. The pictures weren't checked by VAR. I've seen tougher tackles that weren't even assessed as a foul. Now, let me just say something here, people. Number one, whether you believe it was a sending off or not, you let that football club down that day. If you get sent off in a game, you've let your teammates down because now they've got to do your running and close down spaces where you would have been. So where's the apology to your teammates? Where's the apology to the fans? I want to be hearing, listen, I apologize to the fans who traveled to Manchester early in the morning to watch us. And unfortunately, I put in a reckless tackle that I didn't think was a red, but I've let down the team. That's how you should be talking. But no, English toughness. Bro, you're 2-footing somebody in the air. You're out of control. It's not about making contact with the player. It's about the intent. It's a dangerous tackle. If you connect with Cancelo's leg, it's a potential leg breaker if his leg is planted. The arrogance is absolutely outrageous. No accountability whatsoever. Even the manager didn't put it on him and say, yo, Xhaka's let us down. He just said, when the red card happened. He goes on to say, what does he say after that? Talks about his contract after that. So very quickly, forget the red card. The extension of the contract gave me another push. I consider myself lucky with it. Besides, I'm healthy, which is the most important thing in the end. Granite, mate. He's basically the footballing version of Arteta. He is Arteta on the pitch to me. Although Arteta didn't put tackles in like that. He was a lot softer, but this guy's crazy. This guy's arrogance unbelievable. I tell you the one thing he says right here. I consider myself lucky with it. You are lucky, mate. How on earth he got a new contract, I will never, ever know. I don't even understand how this has been allowed to happen, but 24.9 million this guy's contract is worth. No apology, no accountability, blaming other people as usual. You two-footed somebody. You was off the ground and you're talking about English toughness. What's that got to do with anything? The fact this guy is still getting the armband when Aubameyang's out, he's our captain. It says everything about this football club. This is why I debate with Kevin Campbell, because I say these are decisions made by the manager. So when he says it's the players, Curtis. I say, but the manager gave him the contract. He could have gone. He could be playing for Roma right now. All we had to do was say 15 million, I'll take it. You've got rid of him. Awful. This guy better never have a testimonial. I will not be attending. No chance. I just think that's sheer arrogance from this guy. And the energy is not the same. The energy is not the same, from Arteta towards Xhaka as it was towards Pepe. The manager sets the culture. You think he'd get away with this under Klopp? Look at the connection between the fans and that club. Would he get away with that under Pep? Pep would be going wild. You've seen Pep on the documentary. Everybody sit down. Nobody talk. He'd have Xhaka by the throat, mate. I'm telling you. Awful. Awful. Nima said, my friends who are Arsenal fans like Xhaka. I don't know why. People believe that Xhaka is the one. Like, I've heard people who defend Xhaka before and they go, at least he's got a bit of fight about him. Yeah, but he overdoes it, mate. He gets sent off. It's not good fight. He doesn't win the fight, win the battle. He's just willing to have the fight, but he gets sent off. He's a loose cannon, mate. He's awful. And that comment for me is just sheer arrogance. Nobody talk. Pep Guardiola settings, man. You can't be moving like that, Xhaka. I'm telling you. Oh, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, I'm going to try and finish off on a bit of a positive. I know I've had a little bit of a, have we wasted the money? In my opinion, we could have spent the 150 better. We should have addressed the starting 11 better rather than buying squad players for a lot of money, right? But we are where we are. Transfer window's closed, and all we've got is hope now. That's all we've got, people. Until January, all we have is hope. This, for me, is our best 11 at this current moment in time. I'm assuming the new right-back, Tommy, is better than Ainsley Maitland-Niles. The reason I'm going Odegaard in the 10 over Smith Rowe, the one position you could change, and I would have no problem, is you can change Odegaard for Smith Rowe. That's just opinion. I've gone with Odegaard just for the fact that I think Aubameyang needs Odegaard more than he needs Smith Rowe. I think Odegaard can find Aubameyang if you get him higher up the pitch. I think if you play Sambi, Lokonga and Partey's back after the international break, you can start getting Odegaard up here, further up the pitch. Get him in and around here. He needs to be around Aubameyang. We need these guys up here. Pepe plays here for Arsenal. Right midfield. Pepe needs to play here for Arsenal. Right forward. For all my FIFA players, you know the difference. He plays here for Arteta. He needs to play here. Then Aubameyang's got support. Odegaard needs to be up here. Roaming around him. Where Mesut Ozil used to play, You get Xhaka up here, Tierney on the overlap. Tommy is going to tuck in, and you keep these three back. So we're going to be a lopsided team. That's when you will see some success, in my opinion. That, to me, is Arsenal's best team at the moment. Like I said, some people could say Smith Rowe, but I don't think Smith Rowe will create the chances that Odegaard can create if we have a strong back line behind him. Jar, big up, bro, said that is our best 11. This is all we got right now, people. Now, Tomiyasu is on international duty. Gabriel is back in training. Ben White's had COVID. He will be back after the international break. Partey's in training. He will be back. The rest of that team is available at the moment. Someone said, where's your legend, Xhaka? Switch Ramsdale for Leno. I mean, possibly. If you went for that, I wouldn't argue. We paid 24 million. Why not see what he's about? I'm assuming we're going to continue playing 4 at the back. HMT, listen, if we change to 3 at the back, then we change that completely. We have a totally different discussion. But with a 4 at the back, which I think against lesser teams like your Norwich, you can play that. That's probably the best we've got. Now, bear in mind, with this team available, on the bench, you've got Lacazette, you've got Martinelli, you've got Smith Rowe, you've got options. You've got players there that can come on and help. We've got to work with this team now. We've got to start getting something out of this team. Bernd Leno, £20 million. Tomiyasu, 19 million. Ben White, 50 million. Gabriel, 26 million. Kieran Tierney, 25 million. Sambi Lokonga, 17.5 million. Thomas Partey, 45 million. Martin Odegaard, 30 million. Nicolas Pepe, 72 million. Biggest signing in the history of Arsenal. Saka came through the system. Aubameyang, 56 million. There's no excuse. If Arteta is this supreme coach that we kept hearing, he has to perform. You've got no excuse now. He spent enough money. The club have spent the money. He picked these players. This team has to perform. Dave Perkins said, great show, Big C. How I wish you were on the Arsenal board. The truth, as you explain it, is obvious. They wouldn't want me on the board with this owner, mate. They'd be sacking me quick. I'm too harsh. But I appreciate the super chat. Jashar, big up Jay, said, big up Curtis. Mateo grabbed up a man and didn't get sent off. Unlike Xhaka, Mateo is hard to work with, though. He is. But was Rooney hard to work with at 19 when he was in a hotel room with grandmas? You know, getting sent off, putting in dirty challenges, stamping on players in the Euros for England. Was he hard to work with? Probably. But guess what? Strong manager, strong character, nurtured him, helped him to mature. That's what the best managers do. It's all about man management. Job Angoria said, I love this team, Big C. The only unfortunate problem we have is Arteta. Now, the reality is, Arteta, in my opinion, will find a way of squeezing Smith Rowe in on the left and probably drop Pepe. And he will play Granit Xhaka ahead of Sambi Lokonga. That is the problem. He will never pick this team, right? I doubt you will see this team ever under Mikel Arteta because he loves Smith Rowe and Odegaard being on the same pitch. So Pepe will get dropped. Saka will play on the right. Smith Rowe will play on the left. Sambi will be on the bench and he'll play Granit Xhaka. And this is where the problem is. Partey next to Xhaka does not work. Yeah, even Chambers. He'll probably start Chambers. Probably play Tomiyasu at centre-back. 358.5 million, said Abhinav. And yet we're predicting we finish 8th, 9th, 10th with that team, with all that money that's been spent. Listen, I'm clinging on hope here, people. Yeah, Rooney was in the hotels, mate. I'm clinging on hope. We now have to start performing. I can't talk about transfers for too long. Over the next few days, we'll still be talking about it and breaking it down, but it's time to just get down to business now and perform. Norwich at home next game, have to win. Burnley away the game after that, have to win. Then it's the North London derby, Tottenham. The way we're playing, I would just say we can't lose. Even if we get a point, we then go to Brighton, we've got to beat them. I think we've got to get 10 points out of the next 4 games. Do I think we'll get 10 points out of the next 4 games? Probably not. with Mikel Arteta because he'll pick crazy teams. And he'll make life difficult. Burnley last year we drew. So Burnley away is a tricky game for us. But he's got to start performing. What I'm saying is, people, I'm not convinced by the window, but there's enough quality there to do something. If you get a style of football, if you get a setup, a solid defense, you set us up in the right way. You can still do something with that team. Could Antonio Conte do something with that team? Could Ten Hag work with that team? Better managers would look at that team and go, I got an opportunity here. You get Aubameyang creating chances, he'll score. Pepe and Saka are lively. Sambi looks good. Partey's a beast. Ben White, young English player. Gabriel's got potential, Brazilian. Well, we got to build. Obviously, Tomiyasu, I don't know how good he is, to be honest. And like I said, you would have the likes of Lacazette, Smith-Rowe, Martinelli on the bench. James said, hey, Big C, big follower from New York City. Keep doing your thing. The issue with Arsenal is that we keep justifying lackluster performances and players. The issue is much more than the team. It's our mentality. I've said many times, and I will repeat this. The owner is a huge problem. But I believe if you have a top quality manager and a top quality technical director, I believe they can operate even under the Kroenkes and have a level of success, because it's going to take a long time for the Kroenkes to leave. So even while they're there, we've still got to do something. Liverpool, look at the transfer window they've just had. A lot of Liverpool fans are moaning. The reason Liverpool have had success over the past few years is because of Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp. Michael Edwards is one of the best technical directors in the Premier League. He gets bargains. He works the self-sustaining model. When good players are on form, they renew contracts. When teams come in for them, they sell them at a premium. They make money. They go and replace them with players at a lesser premium. He sold Coutinho, bought Alisson and Van Dijk. That fixed their team. They won the Champions League and the Premier League. They signed players like Mane and Salah for 30 million, who people weren't sure about. As Salah failed at Chelsea, is Mane good enough at Southampton? And they've cleaned up. They turned Firmino into a false nine. Michael Edwards is outstanding. Arsenal should be moving for Michael Edwards. He's leaving at the end of the season. We should be signing this guy, right? He's one, along with Mourinho at Chelsea, I'd say he's the best in the Premier League as a technical director. If you get Michael Edwards in and get a top quality manager, give him a Ten Hag, give him maybe a Gaultier from Nice, or get a Antonio Conte, then you can work even under the ownership, because that 150 million would have been spent better. You would have got better players for it. So long-term, Kroenke replacement. 100%. Short term, Arteta, Edu replacement. Deal with your short term, then we'll focus on the long term. We can't do one without the other. You can't just say, I want Kroenke out, but I'll leave Arteta there, making things even worse. Because if these signings don't work, we're going to have more players that we're desperate to sign. So short term and long term need to be dealt with at the same time. And we play a game next weekend against Norwich that we need to win. Tomiyasu, I saw Drogba's tweet, man. He's trolling. He's trolling hard. Put up the picture, didn't he, of Willian and David Luiz, basically saying they were agents. They came to mess us up. We've got to start getting results. Overall, I think the general feeling from the comments you've all put, people, is underwhelmed with the transfer window, but we are where we are. Let's not pretend we're happy with it. We don't have to pretend we're happy, but we've now got no option but to support it. If things go wrong, we'll say, well, we weren't happy with it. We felt we could have spent better, but we've got to start winning games. People, really appreciate you tuning in today. I've been on for over an hour and 24 minutes today. Had to go through that and assess it. I think overall, there's a general feeling that for me, we didn't address the middle and midfield. I think to go into the season with a midfield of Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, with Lokonga and El Neni as your backups, even though I would play Lokonga ahead of Granit Xhaka, this manager will play Xhaka ahead of Lokonga. To have that as your 4 centre mids is not good enough. We're a Thomas Partey injury away from having a bang average midfield. And we've seen how many times he's been injured over the past 18 months. He's injury prone now. Michael said, voted, big up and keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Make sure you vote. Link is in the description. Football Content Awards, nominated for 3 awards. Come on, we got to win some trophies this season. I forgot to do this as well. They won't be happy about this. But this video is sponsored by OneFootball. Link in the description. Brilliant football app. All the latest team news, transfer news, all of that. Remember, the Turkish transfer window is still open for 6 more days. So still the potential for El Neni and Kolasinac maybe to be moved on to a Turkish club. Big up to OneFootball for their support on the channel. And my brother Jar said, as Omri spoke out on us in this shambles, he has said a few things, but, you know, he works with the Belgium national team and he probably thinks he can't do too much about it, to be honest. So, Mr. J, hold tight. Curtis and Albert with a super chat, last one of the day, said, I think we did well in this window in the long term. Obviously, we want immediate success, but we have to fix the mess from Emery. I mean, did Emery create that much of a mess, though? A little bit. You know, he signed some good players, but remember, a lot of the players we signed, he didn't want. He asked for Harry Maguire, Fabinho, and Wilfred Zaha. They gave him David Luiz, Dani Ceballos, and Nicolas Pepe. It's very difficult to blame a manager when he's not being given the players that he tried to sign. So, yeah, in that sense, I think we're looking at Wenger, Emery, and Arteta. Arteta spent 200 million. So the majority of this team is his. The ones who were there, he kept a lot of them, people. Listen, like the video, subscribe, link in the description below. Download OneFootball, get voting for Curtis Shaw TV, best content creator. We will still keep up the daily content and see what's what. There's always news coming out of Arsenal, so we won't be short. We may do a watch along this weekend for some of the international football. I see Mikel Antonio has been picked for the Jamaica squad, so that's good news. And we'll see what's what with some of the other games as well. Last couple of super chats. Your mama said, convinced that Edu and Arteta use sofifa.com for their scouting, signing all the low overall young players with high potential. I'm telling you. And W said, Arsenal is a joke, a reality TV show, cast Arteta out. There we go. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. I will be back tomorrow. And yeah, let's see what happens in the world of Arsenal. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bless.